Hi everybody, this is Bjilnyk, a scientist and beekeeper from Ukraine. We would like to introduce the Ukrainian beehive Bjilnyk, an interesting invention that makes life easier both for bees and beekeepers. Like any other multiple-body beehive, the Ukrainian beehive consists of several boxes with the frames, the bottom and the roof. We will show you how the construction works on the example of this hive. Its smaller box has 8 standard deep Langstroth root frames, while the bigger one is designed for 17 frames of the same type. This hive can house a separate bee family or basic family with a queen bee helper, or 2 separate families. The greatest profit, however, can be obtained from a family with 2 queens. Each queen lives in her 2 small brood chambers, which are covered on the top by queen excluders. The honey is stored in large, joint supers, which are set above brood chambers. Such a united 2-queen bee family grows fast and collects honey very actively. That's why it is necessary to set a few additional, smaller or larger hive bodies. This configuration of the hive allows the lower brood chambers to be easily reached and simplifies carrying out all the necessary technological measures. To remove one of the small bodies, the biggest super is lifted by one of the side handles, and then a thin bar is placed under it on the top of the lower small chamber. Then it is easy to pull out the small chambers and to put them back. So you can change the brood chambers and their placement, check building frames, or form a new colony without any problems. To prevent swarming, you can temporarily divide a family by installing a film under some bodies. Then you should take it off before a nectar flow starts. In this beehive, which is the biggest in the world, it is hard to do it by hands. This hive has totally 120 Dadan type frames, rising to 30 cm in height, and 3 queens in separate 10 frames brood chambers. The bees in the hive have the same smell, they do not conflict and work together as one family with 3 queens. In no swarming conditions, you can easily control the building frames placed on the sides of the brood chambers. In case you see a queen cell, you can completely remove the brood chamber for a full control and replace it with an empty chamber. This allows to avoid the stress in bee colonies, and bees continue to work and do not interfere the inspection. During each inspection, you can move the frames with old brood to the top. This method allows keeping strong bee families and maintaining them in working conditions during the required period, even without nectar flow. This Ukrainian beehive Bjilnyk can be adjusted to any type of frame, dadant, landrus or half frame, with 2 or 3 brood chambers and 8, 9 or 10 frame smaller bodies. Moreover, the development of larger 6-queen Ukrainian beehive for migratory beekeeping is in the progress. To make the process of getting honey frames from the hive easier, you can remove the bees from the satin honey supers by placing a film under them. Then, you need to install small tubes into the entrances to let the bees escape. The tubes will allow exit, but not entrance into the mentioned supers. In such a way, the bees will clear the supers much faster as far as they will use the regular entrance. During the last honey harvesting, you have to remove the upper bodies, leaving the brood chambers only. Then, you have to provide the bees with the syrup. It is worth mentioning that 2 queens produced enough brood even under the very low nectar flow and with no stimulating feeding. Typically, closer to the winter, the bee nest concentrates in the upper brood chambers. Therefore, the lower ones can be removed without any problem. If there is no need to increase the number of bee colonies, they may be grouped together when the first frost occurs. In a cold weather, the bees peacefully group together. They kill one of the queens, usually the old one, and form a single cluster. As the bees do so, the bottom of the hive needs to be turned upside down, and 2 narrow boards should be placed to allow vertical arrangement of both brood chambers. It provides certain benefits: good ventilation under these chambers, removing of extra moisture and decreasing of vibration. After that, the large supers with the roof over them should be installed on the bottom walls. Thus, the bee family is protected by 2 separate walls with no connecting elements in between them. This method significantly improves the thermal conditions of the bee family wintering and provides better protection of the bees from birds, rain, wind, sunshine, noise and others during the cold period. Hence, the bees remain in deep dormancy throughout the wintering period. They use honey economically and stay healthy and full of energy. In this Ukrainian hive, bee queen practically never starts early ovipositing in winter. Thus, it prevents extremely early bees activity. To protect the bees against the worst cold, it is enough to cover the inner chambers with an insulating material. However, in a wet and warm conditions, it can contribute to the appearance of additional humidity. Such a construction is very efficient during the spring bee colony's development. It increases significantly the amount of brood in comparison with traditional beehives and allows obtaining of much more earlier spring honey. In our next video, we will show you how to organize an excellent wintering of bee families and how to remove the excess moisture from the hive without significant heat loss. Well, Ukrainian beehive Bjilnyk takes the apiculture to a new level. and makes life much easier, both for bees and beekeepers.